Count it all joy, Charles is back online. The Equally Yoked Show. Get yoked for free. Count it all joy, Charles is back online. The Equally Yoked Show. Get yoked for free.
Welcome back to the podcast. We are live back in studio to talk about some of the most craziest events that are happening around the world. Now, we are looking at an unprecedented amount of things. And of course, as always, I just want to welcome you back because I'm thrilled to have you to join me on this night's podcast for yet another packed live show. So if this is your first time, most certainly, this is a place where you can have open debate and to dialogue and agree to disagree on all of the topics that we decide to talk about. Now, of course, let's get on with the show. However, we're going to be talking about the fact that there's so much chaos going on in the world, and ultimately we have to look and analyze at everything to see exactly where we sort of fit in this sort of timeline of how we can see how the sort of how we can live our life in this crazy nonsense that is beginning to happen day in and day out. Now, of course, there is a lot that's going on with the ICE protests. So much violence that is happening regarding the fact that everything is just continuing to get worse and worse. We see vehicles ramming ICE agents, firing upon ICE agents, and ultimately it didn't end well in the person who did ram into them. And so we're going to show a portrait of who it was and maybe talk a little bit about it. And I'd like to know your thoughts, but otherwise, welcome. If you're joining in, Blue Slime, welcome to the chat. He said Hamas has already said no, but they want to use the 21-point plan to negotiate. Of course, yes. So they did. They didn't immediately say yes to everything. They want to change a few things. We're going to go over some of those news stories, and otherwise. So we're looking at more information continuing on with the government shutdown and this whole debacle that is happening between both the left and the right. And we've got some interesting receipts from, we'll see some videos on X that kind of go through a list of different things concerning this healthcare and all that stuff. So otherwise, we're going to be looking at also Islamic takeover. Is this something that we're witnessing in our own country? Are we witnessing this more and more, and we're just letting it slip by? Possibly. I don't know. I'd like to know you guys' thoughts. Of course, we're going to be taking a look at the Hamas deal and the comments from Trump and some things that Marco Rubio has said. Also, we're going to be looking at a whole plethora of other things concerning Jordan Peterson, some other stuff, just a lot of other things that are kind of tying to this whole story and this whole narrative. Now, of course, if you're just joining in, I want to thank you so much for being here. And of course, super chats are always welcomed in the chat. I want to make sure that you guys know that, of course, I appreciate any of the support that you guys are providing to this channel to grow this into something bigger and greater than it actually is, or than it can be, than what it is now. So I'm so grateful for you guys' support, even with just a sub and just a like. So feel free to like, subscribe. That's all wonderful to this channel. So let's start here with the first instance of news, and then we'll continue on from there. But otherwise, let's go over here. This is some information pertaining to, let's see here, the ICE sort of instance that we talk about, the rammed ICE vehicle. So this man and armed woman who rammed the ICE vehicles in Chicago, they were arrested. It says 2 people who allegedly rammed their cars into an immigration and customs enforcement vehicle in Chicago. They were arrested. Now, if you haven't seen this video, I'm not too sure if I can share any of this video online, because otherwise I don't want you to, I don't know, suppress the video or suppress the channel, whatever it is, because of showing violent stuff. However, I'm just going to kind of explain what is going down. So these are the two individuals, the alleged individuals that says here going on. It says federal prosecutors charged Marimar Martinez, 30, and Anthony Ian Santos Ruiz, he's got a couple last names there, it says 21, with their cars to assault, impede, and interfere with federal law enforcement. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the Northern District of Illinois reported, according to the WFLD-TV, it says prosecutors alleged that the pair used their vehicles to strike a vehicle being driven by an agent of U.S. Customs and Border Protection on Saturday morning near the intersection of West 39th Street and South Kedzie Avenue on Chicago's southwest side. So here's what the Attorney General office said. It says the two CBP agents were also in the government vehicle after striking the agent's vehicle and the defendants, the vehicles boxed in the agent's vehicle. The complaint states, it says the agent was unable to move his vehicle and exited the car, at which point he fired approximately 5 shots from his service weapon at Martinez. The complaint states. So it says Ruiz was later found at a gas station close to the incident, while Martinez was found with bullet wounds at the car repair shop about a mile from the scene. So all this stuff is developing, and we're looking at so much more violence that is happening towards ICE agents, towards ICE facilities. This is ongoing, and people are, of course, upset about the fact that ICE is going hard on a lot of the immigration and enforcement that is happening with the Trump administration. And quite frankly, this hasn't been this intense since even some of the old presidents that were going on about deporting also illegals. So all this is just developing. All this is getting more and more intense. So somebody said, well, they didn't want to disarm or have international control, but rather Islamic, Arab, and Gaza, and they want to be a part of. Yeah, so we're going to be talking more about what Marco Rubio said regarding who they want to control that area. So it says, you're going to mention the raid, Black Hawk helicopter against American citizens. What raid exactly? I haven't seen that video. If there's a video or any sort of instances, guilty until proven innocent, children separated from their parents and zip tied. Concerning, this is some context that I am not, happy belated birthday. By the way, I did want to mention that the abrupt leaving from the stream on Friday into Saturday was because it was my wife's birthday, and otherwise this stream just stopped out of nowhere. So I just wanted to mention that in Chicago. Yes, I haven't seen anything on that. Of course, we can look at that on another broadcast to see exactly some more information concerning that. So let's continue on here. So of course, with all the violence that is happening with the ICE protests and such, we're also looking at we're looking on this whole government shutdown and this would be the 5th day of the government shutdown, leading into the 6th day, concerning everything that is happening regarding the funding of money or healthcare or tax credits to illegal immigrants. And so the left is saying, no, this is not the case. And the conservatives are saying, or the right is saying, well, this is the case. And they're bringing receipts about it. So let's go on over to X, and we're going to see this video from Scott Jennings, who's going to post some, I guess, some receipts down below, according to what he says. It says, like I said in the clip, I will be proven right, and I am right. Dems want to give Medicaid to illegals, period. Here's the receipts. So let's go over through these thread of videos, and then we'll continue on. And of course, you feel free to let me know your thoughts on this matter. So let's take a look.
The other debate about who's going to get taxpayer-funded Medicaid in this country, that's what the memes are about. That's what the fight is about. Democrats want to make it about this subsidy issue. They don't run out to the end of the year, by the way. But the real thing is they filed legislation to repeal what the Republicans did this summer. And so these two issues have been conflated. But the fact is they don't just want the subsidies. They want other things. And the president is drawing attention to it, I think, in a pretty clever way. We just had a national emergency about telling jokes. I don't know why people
still
can't take
not
a joke.
going to illegal immigrants, Scott.
It is.
And
It really does.
It's not.
It really does.
So it
does in several
not,
blue states.
Scott, no, it's not.
It really does.
Listen, the part of the bill that deals with the money that goes to states, it doesn't say anything about their immigration policy. So red state or blue state, those states are getting less money from the federal government. That still has to be dealt with. And that has nothing to do with immigration. And again, Medicaid does not go to undocumented immigrants. SNAP does not go to undocumented immigrants. CHIP does not go to undocumented immigrants.
It absolutely does.
I don't know. I mean, Scott, prove me wrong.
How many blue states?
Show me the law.
How many blue states?
So he goes on here. This is another clip here from CNN talking about the fact that this is Mark Wayne Mullen saying CNN agrees taxpayer money is used to pay hospital bills for illegal aliens. Jake Tapper, Medicaid reimbursements to hospitals, some of which does go to undocumented immigrants. So some of it also, and it goes on here. So let's click on the
cost in that.
It says people who are in this country legally but are not citizens. So let's continue on here.
Is funding, taxpayer funding for illegal aliens. They're wanting the American people to continue funding insurance for those that should never been in this country to begin with.
Well, so
and I know Chuck Schumer says that that's not
no. Is Medicaid reimbursements, emergency Medicaid reimbursements to hospitals, some of which does go to undocumented immigrants using health care there to those hospitals. Some of it is also for people who are in this country legally but are not citizens, people who are refugees or people who have temporary protected status.
Well, actually, it goes further than that, because in the One Big Beautiful Bill, it has a line saying cut and fraud, waste, and abuse, specifically saying that Medicaid and Medicare benefits cannot go to an illegal alien. Underneath this CR, that it's going to cost the taxpayers $1.5 trillion to keep government open for 4 weeks, it specifically, by line, X's that part out. So
right,
it's more than just reimbursement. This is actually allows them to have Medicaid or Medicare inside, if it's state funded or if it's federal funded. So it goes much farther than just reimbursement to hospitals.
Is there any off-ramp here? Are there any Democrats and Republicans talking about a way forward, surely, that their cooler heads can prevail? There can be some sort of a coming together?
Absolutely. There's a lot of Democrats that would love to vote for a clean CR because they voted for it 13 times underneath Biden, and they voted for, as I said, this same CR 4 times already. The problem is they're being held hostage once again by Chuck Schumer.
But if they got rid of the stuff having to do with undocumented immigrants and temporary protected status, et cetera, and it was just about the Obamacare subsidies, would you contemplate that?
I don't see where there's a point to negotiate when we're talking about a clean CR. It's not like there's language that we put in there. This is the same language that Joe Biden's administration approved. So what language is it that we have to adjust? Why is it that they're not okay with saying let's give Congress 7 weeks, keep funding level, keep languages, everything exactly the same for 7 weeks, and give us time to be able to try to finish appropriations, which we're not going to finish appropriations. We have 12 appropriation bills.
Yeah. So somebody said in the chat, says yes. To pay for their emergency room visits so they don't die. Are you a monster who would refuse them life-saving care? No, nobody's going to refuse anybody life-saving care. If anybody's obviously injured or hurt, they're going to most certainly receive care. So it's not even the fact that, of course, it's still going to have to be paid for at some point. But even then, of course, all this stuff is severely overpriced. And, how can we fix that? Well, we need to think this through. Now, what they're saying is that, and if you look at the CR bill, you'll see, and we'll look at some of what is posted on, it's the actual CR posted on Mike Johnson's page or his website. It talks about that the languages or some of the instances where the language is either the same or it's transferred over, and we can look at some of that and see exactly what he was talking about concerning the fact that this is the same thing that they would have approved 13 times in Biden during the Biden administration. So here's what it says: is do not forget North Carolina, whose state website explicitly advertises emergency Medicaid services for illegal immigrants. They even put it bold so illegals know they can get free health care. It says how stupid does Chuck Schumer think people are? It says, this is the clip here, or the screenshot says, emergency Medicaid, if you cannot get full health coverage through NC Medicaid and are not a U.S. citizen, you may be able to get emergency Medicaid. Anyone can apply for emergency Medicaid no matter their immigration status. And so, of course, there's some more information concerning what is being said by Caroline Leavitt. We went over that in the last live show. I believe we did. If not, you know what? Let's just go over it. Let's click into it.
Illegal aliens were absolutely receiving taxpayer-funded healthcare benefits. In fact, in fiscal year 2024, Medicaid costs for emergency services for illegal immigrants skyrocketed by 142% from the previous year to $9.1 billion. That's $9.1 billion taxpayer dollars that were going to emergency services for illegals. Between President Trump's last full fiscal year under his first administration and Joe Biden's last full fiscal year, Medicaid spending on emergency services for illegal immigrants nearly tripled. So when an illegal alien goes to the emergency room, who's paying for it? The American taxpayer. The Maine Safety Net Hospital in Denver had to turn away patients due to the massive influx of illegal immigrants into the community, and UC Health Hospitals in 2024 reported their system was under stress from an increasing number of migrants. As a result, according to the head of emergency departments and urgent cares across the hospital system, quote, access is impeded for everyone. These are healthcare professionals who dealt with this directly, and there's a lot more where that came from.
Now, if you've ever been to the emergency visit recently, it's hours upon hours of waiting, of course. So otherwise, we're thinking about, some people are saying, look, you're so bad at doing propaganda. I'm not catering to an emotional side to anything. I'm just sharing perspectives on what is happening on both sides. Now, whether you think it's propaganda, we can go over the list of what propaganda might be. However, I am showing you not only the fact that I'm not thinking for myself, I'm just showing you both sides as to help you to come to your conclusion on your own. So otherwise, yes, on the broadcast from Friday night, we were going through some of this stuff. Now, of course, we were talking about the fact that what the left is saying, what the right is saying, and where the language is that is apparently being either exaggerated or something that might be not exactly true or sprinkled with truth. And so otherwise, if you've ever been to the emergency services as of late, it's really, you're waiting hours upon hours to get any type of care. And by the time you're done with it, you already feel better because you've been waiting 4 to 5 to 6 hours. So, however, you said you've covered the right. What about the mainstream? What do you mean by mainstream? Meaning by left, liberals? What exactly? We did that on Friday. So, let's go over to, let me see where it is. Where do I have it here? This is going to be, where is it? Oh, here we go. Yeah. So this is Speaker Johnson's, what he posted on not his post exactly. He just, has on his website the bill and the language thereof. He talks about the changes, or not the changes, but the language there in 57. So let's bring you in over there, and we can take a look at it. So sorry for, I should have had it switched in. Let me see if I can switch that. 1 second here. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a little bit better, so that way the chat is on my face and not on the, so you guys can see what's going on. So somebody said, I think those ER lines are going to get better after Trump's bill cuts $800 billion from Medicaid. Oh, you think those ER lines are going to get better after Trump cuts? Well, who knows? Who knows? Whether they get better, whether they're still the same. The contention, of course, is to not pay for those who are not citizens. Ultimately, this is something that no other country would do. They wouldn't want to pay for somebody else's healthcare. This is something that we'd have to do on our own. So otherwise, this is his post here concerning the Democrats' so-called government funding bill is a $1.5 trillion wish to partisan spending demands tracked onto a 4-week funding bill. Buried on page 57, section 22141, Democrat CR bill repeals the working family tax cut bill's new safeguards against waste, fraud, and abuse in healthcare spending to restore and continue $200 billion in American taxpayer-funded healthcare subsidies going to illegal aliens. It says, click here to read full bill packed with $1.5 trillion in wasteful partisan spending. Now, a question for you guys: do you guys want to be paying for somebody else receiving healthcare who is not a citizen of the country in which you live? Honest question. Because it's more money out of my own pocket, your own pocket. Of course, we'd like to see that money back into our own pocket so we could provide for our own family. So you would. Okay, so YouTube Punk says he would. So you'd like more money going out to pay for somebody else. Everyone should get health care. So the contention is, on your point, is free health care, universal health care. What is it? Because even free health care is not paid, is not free. It still has to get paid. Got it. Healthcare for all people. Got it. Okay. So we're going to be what's interesting about my audience is a lot of my audience is in, so 60% of my audience is the United States. Now 4%, which is actually the second biggest audience through the rest of them. So it's Canada, it's UK, and a few others. Canada, a lot of the ones from Canada actually say it's terrible how the healthcare system is out there, and it's free healthcare. Yes, I live in 2 counties and contribute to the healthcare of others. Okay, so it says even Trump promised universal healthcare in his first term. I don't remember that. During his first term, I wasn't even involved in anything related to politics. However, there was something, let me think. Anyway, yeah, so I would have to look that up and see exactly that was a promise under his first term. Is that his same contention his second term, or his same promise in the second term? I haven't heard anything of a such. So let's see. Okay, so here's some of the line items here. It says ending Medicaid funding for most non-citizens. Okay, this is the cost of repeal in millions. Ending enhanced FMAP for emergency care to illegal immigrants. Okay, that's 28 million. Closing of California loophole. That's 34 million. It says ending Medicare funding for most non-citizens, 5,000. It says ending Obamacare funding for most non-citizens, 91 million. And this is appealing the Obamacare special rule for immigrants, 27 million. So total cost of repeal, $192 million. So let's see here. I want to look at the actual, where did I find it here? Oh, here we go. The link. Let's click on the link. So when we go to page 57, see if we can get there. So it's a lot of language here. It says, in the matter of preceding subclause, this is 56, by striking each of the fiscal year 2026 through 2028 and inserting the period beginning November 1st, 2025 and ending September 30th, 2026. Let's see if this even is regarding this extension of certified community behavioral health clinic demonstration programs. So it says the preceding act, Access Medicare Act of 2014. It says is amended. So it's 42 USC 1396A note is amended. And it says one in paragraph 3 by striking September 30th, 2025 and inserting October 31st, 2025. And in paragraph 5C3 I by striking September 30th, 2025 and inserting October 31st, 2025. Subtitle E, other healthcare provisions, repeal of healthcare subtitle changes. Subtitle B of Title 7 of the Act titled an Act to provide for reconciliation pursuant to Title 2 of H. And it says Res 14, Public Law 119-21 is repealed, and any law of regulation referred to in such subtitle shall be applied as if such subtitle and the amendments made by such subtitle had not been enacted. It says permanent extension of enhanced tax credit It says line 17 in general subparagraph of section 36B E, oh sorry, C, what is that, C or E? C1 of Internal Revenue Code of 1986 is amended by striking but does not exceed 400%. I want to say, is this actually what he was saying that it was? Yeah, page 40, section 6. Okay, got it. So it's a lot of let's see, I repeal the ACA. Repeal the ACA first. Hold on, let me see. Let me go back to the comments to see exactly. So he made a pretty good he made a pretty good point about people dying in the streets. He said it's going to be better and universal health care. Then said he was 2 weeks about from releasing the bill. He wanted to repeal the ACA first, the ACA tax credits. Is that correct? Says countries, not counties. I pay taxes in 3 and I have zero issue contributing to the welfare and health of others. Of course we shouldn't. Of course we want to also contribute to the welfare and health of others. However, when we're paying for so many, that we want to also be able to take care of our own, of course. Now, there should be provisions to help people that are in need, of course. They're coming to this country, but should we be doing it to those who are doing it in the wrong manner, in the sense that they're coming in illegally? Some were forced to come in illegally, and some have come knowingly breaking the law. So it's like, how do we balance this out where we can say, okay, we still want to provide for those who are here legally under sort of a protected status versus the ones who are coming here illegally. Oh, one sec. Sorry, my daughter. Okay, yeah, so the ones who are coming here illegally, now we have to fund the influx of those who have come in. And so you're paying in 3 different countries. Of course, you don't have any problems, zero issues with contributing to the welfare and health of others. Props and kudos to you. Fine, no problem. You want to do that? That's not a big deal. Of course, like I said, I think we should be providing for those who need help for welfare and health, right? Things like SNAP or WIC or any of these things that would help families to get on their feet, to at least become a sort of contributing member of society. That's the sort of ultimate goal here. But my taxes should be used for this, along with the federal government needs to be in control of pursuing homes, and they need to be removed from being profitable, better food for these people and care. U.S. healthcare costs 16% of GDP, while in developed countries, it sits around 6%, meaning more money moving within the economy. Apologies, healthcare for citizenship should be key for it. Yeah, of course. I think that's a key. Healthcare for citizens should be a key for it. Yes. And even those who want to have a pathway for citizenship and they're doing it the right way, I think there should be some type of funding. I don't know. Obviously, the details of working this stuff out is way out of my pay grade to be able to figure this stuff out and discuss these things. However, of course, it's always good to discuss these matters. And it seems like there's a lot of you giving input as to what you guys actually care to do. And so it says, but there's plenty of people who should still receive care from whom are not citizens. There are many reasons, though, that people should get health care coverage even while not a citizen. There's many instances. I don't think we should cover, maybe we shouldn't cover everything under the book, other than maybe basic resources, of course, life-threatening resources that need to be covered for. But I don't know, what does this exactly extend to being an illegal citizen, how they can get healthcare services? Is it just emergency care? This is stuff I'm not fully versed in, of course, concerning concerning this bill here and the thing that they're trying to fix and figure out. That's why they want the extension. So this is provide for the American people first, and the ones that are from the ones that are from here. I think you meant then the ones that are not from here. I think that's what you're trying to say, B. Did you change your photo, by the way? Yeah. So of course we want to provide for the American first. That is what we need to do. I agree with that. Provide for the American first. Let us get our own economy back to square one so that we can start to build our economy so that we can then afford to help others as well. This is ultimately what the American sort of, this is what America is known for, is to help other countries, and other people hate the fact that we're funding countries for doing something in the sense that funding Israel or funding Ukraine or whatever the case is. Yet we can't even provide for our own economy, for our own citizens. That's sad. So I think we definitely need to take an avenue of America first, taking care of our American people. And I think that's what the Biden administration is setting the precedent to do, so that we can then take care of others. Because we are a prosperous nation, or at least we should be a prosperous nation. Then, therefore, to not meddle in wars or meddle in things to, like in Middle Eastern wars or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying at least help economies, other economies thrive and such. So it says, do you think politicians should have to buy their own insurance and healthcare? I mean, I think they should also have to buy their own insurance and healthcare. I don't know how all that works. Do they get it? Is it all, how does that work? How does that work? I think they should be, look, congressmen, they're politicians, I guess congressmen, what their original responsibilities were to, just a certain part of the year, going back to how it was laid out, how they would live their lives, as opposed to how it is in our modern day, where they're able to, I guess Nancy Pelosi is a good example of this, how she's able to use insider trading information to, boost her stocks, boost her wealth. That's not something that we want our congressmen to be doing. We want them to be there to help, to listen to the people, to help make the laws and make this a better economy for the American citizen. But they're not to be working how they do now. Usually what it was is that the congressmen, they would work for a period of time, and then they would go and they would then live their lives 6 months, or I forget the timeline, out of the year, farming or, contributing to American society. And they come back and then they do it all over again by enacting laws and putting policies into place and such. It says Argentina tried to do all the things you are endorsing. They hit 50% unemployment and over 100% inflation. Now the U.S. is bailing them out at $20 billion to save U.S. private equity firms. Yeah, I did hear about the money that I think somebody had asked it in the chat concerning the 20 billion that we're giving to Argentina. Now, is there a sort of, I think my comment was, is there something that we're getting back in return by bailing them out per se? I haven't looked into it, so I'd like to know. It says, no, now the corporate lobbyists give them the written laws. Yeah. So moving on, I guess, from the government shutdown, we can talk more about this sort of conversation that has been happening on this podcast for quite some time concerning, well, I guess we'll talk a little bit concerning the peace deal and everything that is going on in the Middle East. So what I say, on this title that I put is, essentially peace in the Middle East, right? Will there actually be peace in the Middle East? Will there ever be peace in the Middle East? I don't think so. Concerning everything that is happening now with the Hamas deal and all of the information that is coming out about this. Now, Trump is saying that peace in the Middle East is very close. Now, every government, every type of party has tried to do and tried to create some type of peace within the Middle East, whether it was negotiating with terrorists, negotiating with the Middle Eastern countries, negotiating to sort of bring it all together and to stop the fighting. However, this is a sort of long history that goes back to thousands and thousands of years. Now, here's the comment here. It says America has never had a president as committed to world peace who actually takes strong leadership in making deals possible. If President Donald J. Trump is not awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, the award should be disbanded and considered an international laughingstock. No one has ever deserved the Peace Prize more than Donald Trump, and every intellectually honest person knows it. So this is Breitbart posting this, but let's continue on to a news article that says Hamas says it agrees to release all Israeli hostages under Trump Gaza plan. Now this was yesterday. This was yesterday around 9:33 a.m. Now, of course, everything there's things that have been continuing from this point on. So more information. So this is October 3rd. It says Hamas said on Friday it had agreed to release all Israeli hostages alive or dead under the term of U.S. President Donald Trump's Gaza proposal, and signaled readiness to immediately enter mediated negotiations to discuss the details. Now, of course, there is 20 points according to everything that is happening. So it says Hamas, this is actually as of today, Hamas said to demand numerous key terror chiefs October 7th participants be freed in exchange for hostages. Now, Israel is known to give many hostages or many Palestinians or many Hamas operatives back to Hamas in the trade of a few of the, any of the hostages that they've had in the past. Now it says hiding Hamas sources. Channel 12 News sets out what it says are a series of Hamas demands that the terror group is going to make in the talks in Egypt, aimed at finalizing the release of all Israeli hostages in the first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza. Among these is a Hamas demand for the release of several notorious Palestinian terrorists in exchange for the hostages, the report says. These include just quite a few here of the various people that they're asking for release. Life terms for orchestrating the killings of numerous Israelis as Hamas's West Bank commander during the Second Intifada, Abbas, who orchestrated the 2002 bombing in the Park Hotel in Netanya, in which 39 Israelis were killed, and Hamas Hussein Salameh, sounds like Salameh, who is serving 48 life terms for multiple suicide bombings. So it says Channel 12 cites Hamas source saying it won't give up on securing the release of these and other life-term terrorists, whose release Israel has vetoed in previous deals, even at the cost of dooming the deal. So it says there are currently 303 security prisoners serving life sentences in Israel. So it goes on to say more about what Channel 12 is saying. However, let's continue on here. This is let me read the comments before I continue on, because I want to make sure I'm not missing anything you guys are saying. So let's see here. It says, remember when Trump said there would be peace between Ukraine and Russia? He sucks at this. Yeah. Well, it seems like Putin doesn't want to come to any type of deal. He keeps on attacking Ukraine. I mean, they just conducted one of the largest drone strikes, 500 drones that attacked. And I don't know what exactly is happening with this. At what point will Trump draw the line and say, okay, this is enough? Obviously, he's funding, or he's giving, what was it that he was giving the EU munitions, and they're essentially giving it to Ukraine. And it says, I think, what is it, the Patriots? It says, I appreciate your chat contribution. Oh, to somebody else. It says, hey, routers, that's a good source. I'll give you props to this one among the dozen cited so far. It says, Trump wants the Peace Prize because he thinks it's his route into heaven. Yeah, he said that if, what did he say his exact words? Something about, look, essentially it's like, if I'm a good person, I'm going to make it to heaven. It's kind of that mentality, which is, it's not going to work. We just know that it's not going to work. That's not how salvation works. That's not how the scriptures talk about salvation. However, yeah, it's just bad. It's just bad understanding. And it's going to be sad that if that's what he continues to think. So it says, also saying we fund Ukraine is a bit of a stretch. We send them military equipment, which needs to be replaced, thus creates jobs for us and frees up space instead of these old war machines profit. The 350 billion, I think there was this number came out I need an ad blocker. Yeah, I don't pay for any ad blockers. There's just so many ads on routers and every other page in the world. So it says here that we don't see. Yes, there is military equipment funding, of course, but when you've looked at some of the what was it, the spendings that we've seen under the Biden administration, you'd see that there's a dollar amount that was being sent, or that was being introduced in most of these. What do you call them? An ad blocker. An ad blocker, honey, is to block ads on the website. On any articles that I'm reading. No. Yeah, so it's slipping my mind. These package deals, even what was it? It's slipping my mind. I can't think of it. So you would see in them was included Ukrainian money that was being sent. So you'd see, however much money, dollar amount. We can go through those at another time, but otherwise it says, Dead Men, welcome to the podcast. Welcome. Glad you're here. It says, unblock origin is free. My favorite four-letter word, F word. Well, great. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, ad blockers are great. I just feel like some of the things that they need access to is just a little strange. I don't know. It says you're just like you're reading that atheist book. Let's see here. So continuing on here, let's switch over to some other information regarding the fact that, does that conclude this sort of Hamas deal? Do you guys think that there's going to be any type of deal concerning this Hamas situation? Do you guys think that they're going to actually go through with it and release the hostages? I don't think so. This is not something that they have a track record of doing. They always want to either release a few at a time in increments, and then they don't even release all of them all at once. And so even Trump saying, when I get into office, they all better be released. They still haven't been released. So what that looks like, I think they're going to push him on his word, on his bluff, and saying that they're going to be receiving absolute, like all hell's going to break loose. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll find out. So concerning, well, actually, before we finish that off, there is something else that I wanted to bring up here. So let's see here. Not that. It's going to be, here we go. Let's transition over here for a moment. This is President Trump talking about this deal in his own words, so we can get an idea of what he's saying exactly.
We have very little, we don't need flexibility because everybody's pretty much agreed to it, but there'll always be some changes. But the Hamas plan, I tell you, it's amazing. You're going to have peace, if you think about it, peace in the Middle East for the first time in, they say, really 3,000 years. So I'm very honored to be a big part of that. Look, they've been fighting for a plan for years. We get the hostages back almost immediately. Negotiations are going on right now. Will probably take a couple of days, and people are very happy about it.
And so this is, let's see, I want to show Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio's, I thought I had it pulled up. So I'm going to bring that up for a second just to see exactly what he's saying concerning this. And let's see, I think it's going to be this one here. Yeah, so let's bring you into the shot.
I think ultimately everyone has agreed, including Israel, that eventually at some point here, as this process plays out, Gaza will be governed by a Palestinian technocratic group that's not Hamas, that are not terrorists, with the help and the assistance and the guidance of an international consortium like the Board of Peace. You have to have somebody to turn it over to. So, I mean, let's be realistic here. You can't just set up a sort of new governance structure inside of Gaza in 72 hours.
Now, I'm curious because concerning the sort of ethnic cleansing of the people out of the region, or even genocide, what exactly is the sort of mindset behind ethnic cleansing, or whatever the case is, if they're putting them back in that area, in that region? So I'm curious what your guys' thoughts on that. I'm going to let this play out. Sorry if it gets a little boring. I'm going to use the restroom. I really got to use the restroom. One sec.
That it's going to take some time to do it.
What is your sense at this critical stage?
The Secretary has it quite right. That's one of the big end goals here, to have a self-governing Gaza Strip. But there are many, many steps along the way. I like the clip you played with President Trump when he said 3,000 years, this is the first big peace deal, but he was saying something really fundamental. Almost the entire globe is on the side of this 20-point plan. It's a big framework. There are parts of it that many disagree with. But just this past month, European nations were lining up to recognize a Palestinian state against Israel and against the U.S., speaking at the UN. There were Arab and Muslim countries that were against Israel and its role in the war. All over the globe, nations have come together, and leaders in particular, to endorse this plan. They've had enough. And even some of the Islamists are supporting it as well. We have, instead of Israel being isolated, which it almost always is, in the UN and around the world, we have Hamas that's been isolated by this agreement.
Interesting.
So it has to make...
All right, so that's some of the comments that I wanted to put out concerning what Marco Rubio is saying is that essentially we've got to put somebody in power. We can't just leave it, this area untamed, I guess you would say. So let's see, potty break. Yeah, Trump needs a third term. There was some, I think it was, what was it? I don't know if this was a real photo or this was AI generated. I know he uses a lot of AI generated stuff. Some stuff can be kind of weird that he posts on his Truth Social. However, an AI generated photo, I think, of him tossing a 2028 hat to somebody, and there was a Trump 2028 hat on his desk. What that means, who knows? So, continuing on here, so I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts? It says technocrat Palestinian group. They're lying. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen there? They have a Gaza plan, and whether it comes to complete fruition, who the heck knows? So concerning it said weird unhinged. It's unhinged. Well, I think a lot of it is just, I don't know. That sarcasm is not the word. I don't know. Who knows? It's strange. It's weird, but unhinged. I mean, I guess. So concerning Islam takeover, we've had many debates, many conversations about this concerning Islamic takeover. Now, one sec. I'm going to restart the stream. I'm going to see exactly what's up with YouTube because it's not pushing this out to anybody. So just bear with me for one sec. Considering Islamic takeover, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys think America is under a takeover? So concerning this takeover, what could be happening right under our noses? We've seen this begin to, as somebody said, extreme. Begin to, you're saying no, you don't think, I'm guessing that's in regards to the Islamic takeover or this idea of Islamic takeover. You don't believe that it's happening. No. B says no. YouTube Punk says no. Okay, so concerning something like Michigan. Michigan has been in the works for quite some time now. I don't know how this is exactly running today. Now, this is 3 years ago. And this is a Michigan hosting an only entirely Muslim city government in the U.S. So let's show you this clip. This is from 3 years ago. Now, how it's exactly being run today, I guess we can do the research and check that out. But I just thought this was interesting because it came up on my feed from, I can't remember if it was something that I was searching up. I think probably something regarding Mamdani and some other stuff. So let's watch.
The city of Hamtramck puts a new face on representative government in America. For a century, it was a Polish-American enclave in Michigan, surrounded by the city of Detroit. Now, a wave of new immigrants from Yemen, Bangladesh, Pakistan has eroded the dominance of Warsaw. In 2013, the city became majority Muslim.
So the call to prayer here is there was a video that I was seeing earlier. I think it was on YouTube. I could probably go and pull up the clip here. But otherwise, it was another video showing a call to prayer at 5 a.m. And so this is obviously this is something that has been happening. And oh yeah, so I think the video that I was looking at was actually Mamdani speaking at a I want to say a mosque. He's been speaking at many mosques actually, and so I mean, why he's exactly speaking there, I don't know. We saw that Andrew Cuomo, who's actually speaking and I don't know, trying to cater maybe to the Muslim group. It's not working out, of course, because you can see that they're just saying a whole bunch of things while he's trying to talk. So he's being heckled in this whole speech, and of course. Mamdani, when he's talking, they're all sitting there patient, listening, not even going against him. And so possibly because he's also Muslim. So who the heck knows what exactly is happening when it comes to why he's speaking at the mosques to cater to that community, what exactly is happening. So it says, I'm an atheist who works in a covenant nursing home, Catholic nursing home, not covenant, right? Oh, I'm sorry, convent nursing. Oh, it's a covenant, convent nursing home, Catholic. I'm not sure if that was a typo and you just wrote Catholic. So anyway, do they know you're an atheist, regardless who does it? Oh, I'm sorry. Trump speaks at churches. It's pandering, regardless who does it. Look, it's not out of character for any, I don't know, politician to speak at a church. Why? Because America's founding was based on scripture, based on the God of the Bible. If you actually go back to the original 13 colony letters, they actually all reference scripture. They all reference God. They all reference the Lord Jesus Christ. It's actually astounding. So you go into the deep history of the founding of America. This was the intention. Of course, the founders believing that the affairs of men are governed, or God governs the affairs of men. And so many of the scriptures that are referenced by some of these founding fathers, we've gone so far from that sort of perspective. And so it's not out of character for somebody to speak at a church. However, when we see a politician that is trying to cater to a Muslim group, Islamic practicing Muslim group, of course, it's going to be a little out of character for America. Because ultimately we don't want a third world country, sort of. I saw an AI generated video of somebody who was visiting places like Los Angeles, like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, places in New York, and it's like obviously the AI generated it to make it look like what I don't know, almost as in a war zone of how it looks in Islamic ran cities. So it says that the convent is Catholic. Yes, they know I have no faith. They believe I am too good of a person to not believe. Kind of don't know what to think of me, so they just ignore it. I love it here. Interesting. So, I mean, otherwise, do they even? I guess this is probably considered. This is a side topic conversation, but otherwise, when you're talking about the fact that they don't know what to think, they know that you have no faith. What is it like working in a place like that? That's kind of interesting. So the founders fled an oppressive Christian influenced government. Of course, King Charles was not King. Yeah. So they were writing to King Charles at the time of these colonial what they call them, charters. And they had fled was it King James, I believe, at the time that they came to America. I forget. However, you say Christian influenced government because this king was acting opposite of what the scriptures actually teach concerning rulership. And so just very bad, very bad. So of course they're going to say, we're not going to tolerate this. We're not going to take this. So we're going to actually go based on what scripture says. And we're going to essentially form our own government and sort of branch off into America. Of course they knew about it. The king of Was the king of England? Oh gosh, I really have to touch up on my history on this. So anyway, geez, yeah, my mind is just falling apart here. So it says, let me see, pure ignorance and bigotry, bro. Plenty of American places, both rural and city, look like third world countries. Many do. They look trashy, very terrible. I mean, many that I've lived near, it's not even, it's just bad. Homelessness, it's just terrible in those areas. So why is that? I mean, it's just the culture. It's just the culture. It says this is why we have freedom of religion and the government should steer clear. Of course, we have freedom of religion, but when we have a sort of importing of the third world, where massive imports of people who practice the Islamic faith, people who are Muslim, when they come in and they take over these institutions in such government or teaching positions, if you actually look closely to the Islamic sort of understanding as to how they begin to do this, they begin to infiltrate into the world of wherever they are, to implement a slow and takeover of the area. So we've seen this with UK. Of course, I showed you a video of Anjam. I think it was the guy's name, who's talking about the fact that they're to institute Sharia law into the place that they're living in. This was 7 years ago, this video that I posted. So looking at UK now, looking at the woman who tweeted about the influx of immigration coming in, and this is mostly Muslim, Islamic faith-based people coming in to the border. And of course, this is what we see in London currently, where there's just essentially a takeover in an institution of Sharia law. Eventually, it's going to get even worse than what it is now. So it says, I wouldn't worry about Muslim immigration. They are historically made up of less than 2% of immigration in America, and most are recorded to have a hefty net benefit to where they immigrate. It says Haitians helped to revive that town. The third world helped an American town. Nobody has taken over. Are you talking about the Haitians in, where is it? In, it's not Michigan, is it? Michigan, where is it? But the problem is the clashing of cultures, the American values, the American, Ohio. Was it Ohio? I thought it was somewhere else. But the clashing of cultures doesn't mix well with American culture. It just doesn't. So we have less in common with the people that we actually live amongst. The sisters also dislike pain meds and other things, many other things that can be difficult as a logical person facing faith-based principles. I like getting paid, so I don't argue with them. Watch Newsflex, Springfield, Ohio. Interesting. There is a clip that I've showed before on the podcast concerning a crazy scene. I think I still have it pulled up here. This is Somalia, Minneapolis. Minneapolis is one of the areas, considering, I think what you mentioned was this is Somalians, so not Haitians. But anyway, yeah, okay, yeah. So I'm thinking of the Somalians, not the Haitians. Anyway, so it sounded like I said Asians. I'm saying Haitians. All right, so that's kind of what was going on with that imagery that I just showed you of. So let me see. I think I have something else pulled up concerning that. This is of course interesting. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on this video. This is like super dramatic. So this is a woman who's saying, I'm Muslim, you can't touch me. And she's being clearly detained for some reason here. And she begins to invoke Islamophobia claims against the officers. And so the officer does right, and by calling his female partner to come and do the sort of the finishing of this so that he's protected. I think he had some wisdom in doing that, so he's protected from maybe any type of legal issues here, because she's going on about saying you'll pay for this, you're gonna get sued for this. So this is kind of wild. So let's check this out.
Ma'am, I need you to take a seat.
Why am I being arrested?
We told you.
He tried to. What do you mean? He tried to kill me. He tried to assassinate me.
Ma'am, please take a seat.
I am a woman.
Thank you.
You're touching me, even though I told you I'm a Muslim. You're still touching me.
Ma'am,
Okay.
I'm gonna buckle you up, okay?
Okay.
For safety. So can you sit back?
You're gonna pay for this, you know? Do not touch me. Do not come close to me.
Can you scoot this
Do
way a
not
little
come
bit?
close to me. You know I'm a Muslim.
Can you scoot this way a little bit,
You
please?
know I'm a Muslim. Islamophobia. You did it. You did your Islamophobia.
Can you scoot
You
this
did
way
it, and you
just a little bit
protected
so
your
I can
own
get
white
the
people.
seatbelt on?
You ordered it. You ordered it, and you protected your own white people.
Then I will
Okay.
sue you
You know
for
the
it.
Muhammad is gonna take it. You know the Muhammad is gonna take it. Assault, you liar. Thank you.
I'm gonna unbuckle you. We're gonna have you step back out. My female partner here is gonna do the search.
You know, one of your people tried to kill me, right? Female?
By the way, you
gonna
said what's clashing. I just said it's the culture that's clashing, not the religion, the culture, the type of culture, how they live. Apart from the religion, however, the religion is not just let's separate our mosque and state. It's let's implement both. And so, looking upon the differences there, I even went back to look at the Hamas charter of 2017 versus 1988. The difference is that they removed a lot of these sort of, controversial language. However, Hamas has never, their very actions and the way they communicate is not antithetical according to their original document that they produced. They want to make sure that they seem a little bit more politically, professional. So they remove a lot of this controversial language. However, the way they act is indeed, there's a specific line that talks about that they're not against the religion; they're against the Zionism in the sense of where from the river to the sea. That they want to remove. They still have that same mindset. However, the implementation of here. Let's see. Let me see if I can find some of the information that I was looking up here. Let's see here. Yeah, so Muslim Brotherhood, which they take on, the Hamas takes this on. So from theological justifications to the foundational Islam and total system. So when you look at Islamic fundamentalism, Islam is not just a private religion, but a complete system covering politics, law, society, governance. So people like Hassan al-Banna, from the Muslim Brotherhood, he's the founder of Muslim Brotherhood. His understandings concerning this and what he has said in the past. Let's see here. Islam is a comprehensive system. So this is in his 5 tracts in 1938. Okay, so this was translated by Charles Wendell. So it says Islam is a comprehensive system which deals with all spheres of life. It is a state and a homeland. So he goes on comparing the two. They're never like state or homeland or government or nation. It's and. That's the key term there. And it says or a government and a nation. It is morality and power, or mercy and justice. It is culture and law. It is or science and justice. It is material and wealth. Sorry. It says or gain and prosperity. It is jihad and a call, or army and idea. And finally, it is true belief and worship. So even like Sayyid, also Muslim Brotherhood ideologue. So this is from Milestones. It says the establishment of the kingdom of God on earth, the elimination of man's lordship over man, and the implementation of the Sharia of God. These are the objectives of Islam. The foremost duty of Islam is to depose Jahiliyah ignorant, un-Islamic systems. That's what it means. It says from the leadership of man and to take control of the political authority. So this is not something that is foreign to what they're supposed to do, what they're called to do. It's a call. It's a greater call to, of course, take over these institutions, to institute Sharia law at some point. So somebody said Islam principles have also driven historic scientific innovation. Which ones? I'm curious. So it says the J6 rioters are carrying flags of Jesus, crosses, and their new idol, Trump. The J6 rioters. Is that what was happening during January 6th? I didn't see any. I wasn't paying attention to any of those flags that are being up there. But otherwise, if they're doing things in the name of Jesus, of course, we've seen a lot more information coming out about Jan 6, and we can cover that in another podcast. So it says, and she became international kingpin doing, I'm not sure exactly if that's something else. The world majority of Muslims value religious freedom, civic duty, and education. Most give 2.5% of their income to charity per zakat. Again, we're talking about Islamic fundamentalism, which it's the gradual takeover of a society instituting Sharia law. We've seen this of a video that went down 7 years ago from Anjam, who's talking about this very thing, and look where London is. It says you have read the 2017. Again, nobody supports Hamas here. That's not why I'm referencing the 2017, but otherwise, it's not even like the language is still the same, essentially, comparing the two. So, oh shoot, you know what? I want to go back to continue on that video because I think it's still kind of wild. The things that she's saying.
It's my breast. You just touched my breast with your chest.
Okay, step out, ma'am.
You know your own people try to kill me,
step
right?
out.
No?
Step out.
The same behavior, you never change?
Ma'am, step out.
You're gonna pay for this.
So what's the point of even saying all these things? Just so she can get, I don't know, some kind of let's see here. Hold on, let me continue this video.
You're gonna pay for what you did. There's no player in the game, and you know it. Do not humiliate me. Right? The
I'm
Muhammad?
doing my job.
The Muhammad? Right, you're gonna pay for this.
Listen, do you have anything in your
You
pockets?
attack me?
Ma'am.
No, it's a lawsuit. It's a lawsuit.
Do you have anything in your pockets?
Islamophobic. You're Islamophobic. You protected your own white people. Knowing very well that he tried to kill me. Yep, you know him very well that he tried to kill me.
Spread your feet apart.
Islamophobic. Don't get in my... Do not touch my privacy. Do not touch my private. Right? I am a Muslim. Islamophobic. I am a Muslim.
Okay, have a seat.
You do what you do best, right? To the Arab. You know who you are, right? The fallen angel? Yeah.
Does she have her wallet on her?
You hear that phrase? You know what you do, the fallen angel?
My language. You understand? There is a new player in the game.
Or is it in the
You're
car?
not supposed to do this to an Arab. Hello? You're not supposed
She's saying you're not supposed to do this to an Arab, but like, I mean, could a white person say that same thing? And like, you know, like, I don't know, anybody else of a different religion, different color, doesn't matter. And so you're asking what exactly she did. I don't know exactly what she did as to why she was being arrested. So okay, here we go. This is from Dr. Malouf. It says she was arrested for assaulting an American man she accused of Islamophobia, and then gets very angry and accuses the officers of Islamophobia too. She says, I am Muslim. You cannot do this to a Muslim. You are Islamophobic. He tried to kill me. Do not touch my private parts. Lawsuit. So so this is what she was accused or arrested for, assaulting an American man. And so that's why she's being detained. And she's saying all these wild things. So let's continue on to the rest of the video.
to do this.
Hey, where's your wallet at? Your ID, your purse?
What are you doing?
Where is your ID at? Is it in your car?
You're not supposed to do this.
Where is your ID at?
I am not giving you any of my information. What
Okay,
are you
so
doing?
we will
I'm under
fingerprint you.
duress. I am under duress.
You are under arrest.
No,
is
yeah,
what
under
you are.
arrest, under duress.
Okay.
Right. I am being forced.
Hey, is her wallet in the car?
Yeah, this is a
Her purse? Just her ID?
So police, they do this with anybody who's acting very hostile. So why she's using this language, it beats me. I don't know. I don't know, but she's trying to use this to, I mean, hopefully get a lawsuit out of it. I don't know. It says this lady defended herself from a guy, is what I'm hearing. So you've seen this before. So you were asking what she was being. She might be being detained illegally. How is that the case if she's assaulting somebody? So if she's acting very aggressive, even if she was, I guess, I don't know, if she was attacked, who knows? So you're hearing this. Where are you hearing this from? So what did she do to be detained? So you're asking what did she do to be detained, but you're also hearing that she defended herself. Is somebody else mentioning this in the chat? I'm not sure. So many people are always constantly crying about how persecuted everyone is all the time, everywhere, that I've completely ran out of F's to give about anyone's persecution anymore. Have they told her why she's being detained, arrested? This is a part of body cam footage. There's probably more to this. This is probably not the full clip. However, this is just what we have as far as available information. It says, while that has never happened, dude, no city, county, or state in the U.S., Canada, or Europe legally forces any form of Sharia law. Look it up, please. They don't force Sharia law. They implement it legally eventually. So it says acting hostile is a 1A right, Charles. You think it's a woman attacked someone or a guy attacked her? Who knows? I don't know. It says that she assaulted an American man. That's all that is being given by this Dr. Masoul or Malouf. I think that's his name. It says a woman not taking accountability. Weird. Yeah, I don't know. So it's just strange. I just found this clip to be very strange, and of course the comments are saying Islamophobia says there's no such thing as Islamophobia. It says it is the right of every individual to question a religion which claims to be peaceful and yet is responsible for more terror attacks than any other. The Islamic world, women are treated as second-class citizens and bound by ancient laws, which they are. According to the Quran, the man can beat the woman if she doesn't do things that the man wants her to do. And so there's plenty of videos of men doing that, where they're putting something over their head to block them from seeing anything, and they're just hitting them, and it's so sad. But they are, incredibly oppressed. So it says, if anything, Islam has a phobia about anything, it's not Islamic. Okay, so that's just one comment from somebody. Otherwise, it says here, in Islam, we are allowed to lie for the sake of Islam and Allah. We even pretend to be friends with the enemy and deny our faith if necessary. This is by, this is legitimate lies to avoid persecution and compulsion. This is by Taqiya on Memory TV. Okay, so that's kind of that. Let me see fermented. Let me see here. I literally said in my comment, they have never illegally implemented Sharia law anywhere in the US, Canada, or Europe. Please look it up. Got it. So you're saying they have never legally implemented Sharia law. Got it. So I'm going to see if I can play the clip for you. I have to find it again because I always bring it up every now and again to just show you what I'm talking about when it comes to the implementation of Sharia law. And I guess we can go into that a little bit later. So this is something that I wanted to bring also to your guys' feeds here. This is Charlie Kirk and SPLC, which is the here we go. This is actually the actual website that if you look it up, we'll go to that in a moment. But otherwise, it says Andrew demonstrates what happens when you search for Charlie Kirk and SPLC.
Of Google, and is like, what's going on? Well,
here? Listen, if ever there is a time to get vehemently pissed off about this stuff, they just murdered Charlie,
the man who should be sitting in this chair right now,
right
tonight.
This chair. And I can't tell you that the assassin read the SPLC hate map article about Turning Point that was added in May, but what I can tell you is that it contributes to an ecosystem of radical
Southern Poverty Law Center. FYI, if you were wondering what SPLC is. So Jesus showed the most respect to women than any religious figure. Yes.
Yeah. And Tim, we talked about this on your show earlier this week. It is a they. It is a they, right? Yes, the assassin is personally responsible, but it is a they because it's part of an ecosystem of radicalization, and you're seeing it in the polling where 30% of progressives between the age of 18 and 39 believe that violence is totally justifiable politically?
Well, because it's one movement, and that's the issue. It's often described very interestingly, what is the left and the right? And you can be you take a look at some of these people in the space. Joe Rogan's a great example. He's a bit of a lefty. He's the example, right? And they call him right-wing or far-right because he's not in the cult. So when you see AOC on the House floor disparaging and smearing Charlie Kirk, she is proselytizing her to her cult. She is giving a sermon to her fake non-theistic or to this non-theistic religion. They're adherents to it. When you go to their meetings, their protests, they say, respect the diversity of tactics. What that means is we are all part of one movement. Right. And here's the real secret. What they're actually saying, they'll go and say, no, look, here's the thing. The other activists that come here and want to find a way to change the world may not agree with you, but we're fighting for the same cause. So let them do it. What they're not telling you, those guys over there work for us. They're telling you, you don't have to feel bad about the violence they commit. They're a different group. They're not.
So looking at the SPLC actual website here, it says Turning Point USA, a case study of the hard right in 2024. So it says several weeks after the 2024 presidential election, Charlie Kirk, founder, president of Turning Point USA, proudly embraced a white nationalist conspiracy theory while celebrating then President-elect Donald Trump's plans for mass deportation. It says Kirk accused Democrats of embracing immigration as part of their plot to secure voters, which this is what Gavin Newsom is trying to do. It says permit crime and enact the great replacement. It says he warned his hundreds of thousands of listeners, we native-born Americans are being replaced by foreigners. It says he then promised Trump will liberate. Now, again, on this context of we native-born Americans, Trump is also pro-immigration, however, pro-legal immigration. Not pro-illegal immigration. I don't think any policies or anybody who's in politics, anybody who deals with the creation or the implementation of laws should most certainly be consistent in the fact that anything done illegally should have a sort of price. However, if it's trying to be done in the legal way, in the legal manner, should be rewarded. Absolutely, we should be rewarding those who are trying to do things in the legal manner. And ultimately, there are many, many instances of people thriving in this economy, thriving to build societies, thriving to, get involved in making America better by becoming a citizen, by becoming a part of the culture, by learning the culture, learning the language. And there's many instances of people that we see around us. So it's more against the illegal side of it that is what is being opposed here. So it says he then promised Trump will liberate the country from the enemy occupation of foreign hoarders. It says Charlie Kirk's TPUSA is a well-funded hard-right organization with links to Southern Poverty Law Center, identified hard-right extremists, and a tremendous amount of influence in conservative politics. While the group was previously dismissed by key figures in the Republican National Committee, Trump attended several TPUSA events across the country throughout 2024. Now, this is something that is most certainly growing in the sort of I don't know. This has been the connection here. Let's kind of see if we can break it down a little bit. But anyway, so it's in its Year in Hate and Extremism 2024 report, the SPLC included Turning Point USA, Action, and Charlie Kirk as part of the hard right movement, accusing them of promoting fear, Christian nationalist ideas, and authoritarian tendencies. So the SPLC has also criticized TPUSA events, Young Women's Leadership Summit, for promoting gender radical and ideological message that the SPLC regards as exclusionary or hate adjacent, which is completely opposed to, the actual, when you're actually listening to any of these events, they're not women that they should strive to be at home with their families, building up the family. The husband should be working. These gender ideologies calling these the people that are speaking at these events sexist, and it's just all nonsense. So here, let's see. How did Christ treat illegal immigrants? Well, during his ministry on earth, there was nothing that was even the focus of anybody who was an illegal immigrant. Now, God does deal with this in the Old Testament concerning these things, and these are passages that we can go over at another time. Actually, what I do want to do is I want to start focusing on some of these issues on the main channel or on our channel. This is the main channel, but on the main videos that we upload, not in live streams, where it kind of goes through these issues like immigration in the scriptures or the sojourners that it talks about slavery. We'll go over these in more in depth. So if you guys want to hear more about that, please consider subscribing. So otherwise, let's see if I'm missing anything here. Remember you? I don't remember you, sweet Tiger Loy. I remember the first part, sweet. Somebody might have had the same name. I'm not sure. It says, you don't think immigrants and refugees fall under the umbrella of the least among us? What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate on that question more? I don't fully understand your question. And so here's more information concerning this. It says the far-right Southern Poverty Law Center helped train Department of Justice prosecutors and was given exclusive access to federal hate crime databases during President Joe Biden's administration. And so this is from the New York Post. This is actually a document obtained thousands of pages, or a post saying the AFL has obtained thousands of pages of records exposing Biden DOJ's shocking partnership and coordination with the radical SPLC to weaponize civil right enforcement. No daylight between DOJ and SPLC. So here's round one. So let's see. This is some of the documents. It says, yes, I appreciate getting an embargoed copy. I just finished my draft background and talking points and would love to talk to you about the report. Is it good now? Tomorrow morning sometime, I have the topic for meeting of civil rights groups with DAG Monaco on Friday. So yeah, so it goes down. Let me see if there's continues on here. Election security, public education, hate crime database, data release, leadership conference, advanced copy. It says anti-LGBTQ violence, radical profiling guidance. Also, if you have any recent reports, letters, PRs, etc., on the organization positions relevant to these concerns, please share them. So this continues on. This is a whole list of what you can see that is posted on the American First Legal X page. So, well, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on this? Do you mean the law of Moses as the Jewish covenant? Jesus was Jewish. Those would apply to him. However, laws specifically excluded Gentiles. Christians are Gentiles, so those laws don't apply. What are we talking about exactly? The laws of what exactly? Christ said his kingdom was not of this world. Amen. So we've become citizens of heaven should you want to be a... Look, he talks about this in John, talking about the shepherd being at the door. So there's going to be those who are trying to come in another way. However, they don't have the garment that we can go over this at another time. But anyway, in John, when it talks about this sort of citizenship that we would get into heaven, that we have to be, of course, followers of Jesus. So he is the shepherd, we are the sheep. And so very interesting scriptures to go through. It says, according to those laws at least. What do you mean by that? Matthew 25:35 through 40. So it says Jesus isn't king in heaven either. Whoops. It says you're going to see differently. It says Messiah was to crush Israel's enemy, bring peace over the land, and reign over Israel as king. He was also supposed to be from the line of David. Both of those are true in the sense that he is going to crush Israel's enemy, and he's also going to bring peace over the land. But you, on your perspective, you don't believe that to be so. Because you believe that all the prophecies have to be fulfilled at once. But again, we talked about this in our email. So, yeah. So continuing on here on the last couple of stories that we can cover on this podcast, we've got Steak and Shake. The flag installations have begun at Steak and Shake. It says every Steak and Shake is going to be getting the tallest and biggest American flag that local governments will allow. Steak and Shake proudly supports American values and traditions. This is what we're talking about when it comes to culture, when it comes to just being an American, loving our country, and of course, wanting to help others, wanting to be generous to others. Of course, all these things. Never had Steak and Shake. Sure want to now. And last couple of things, Jordan Peterson, of course, he is apparently experiencing some terrible pneumonia and sepsis, apparently near death, which is going to be absolutely crazy if he, this is going to be crazy considering the fact that this is a man who is in the pursuit of truth concerning the scriptures, concerning Christ, concerning everything. And so here, this is Michaela. I think, what is her name? I think it's Michaela. I think that's how her name is pronounced. This is her father had been treated in the intensive care unit after he was diagnosed with pneumonia and sepsis. So this is actually a video of her posting. So it says,
Summer's been exceeding.
So it says, hey, as you know, Jordan Peterson has been really sick. A lot of people have been asking for updates. So here's one. He's recovering slowly, day by day, but I won't lie, it's slow and scary. So I'm just going to play the video so you can hear exactly what she has to say concerning this.
Difficult. Dad was in an ICU.
Yes, it is Jordan Peterson's daughter.
From pneumonia and sepsis after dealing with a host of neurological issues this summer that we believe stem from SIRS, which is chronic inflammatory response syndrome due to decades of mold exposure. We don't have a better explanation for his neurological symptoms at the moment other than spiritual attacks. He's been suffering for the last number of years with unexplainable neuropathy and weakness, amongst other symptoms, but they worsened this summer after he cleaned out his parents' basement after his dad, my grandpa, passed away. We weren't able to communicate with Dad really all of September. During the end of the pneumonia, he was diagnosed with critical illness polyneuropathy, which we're hoping is critical illness myopathy, which is bad enough. That's been heartbreaking and brutal on top of everything else. But after almost a month in the ICU, he's been moved out to a less urgent floor. Praise God for that. We're still in the midst of this, but now we're seeing improvements daily. The timeline for his full recovery is hard to tell at the moment, and I'll update everyone when we have more information. My family's asking for prayers. Like I said, this summer's been exceedingly difficult and terrifying. Dad's condition is complicated by the fact he can't take most medications without suffering from severe paradoxical reactions, which limits treatment options. Like I mentioned, I believe there's a spiritual element at play here. I think a lot of people have felt it in the last few weeks and months. It's been hitting my dad and my family hard this summer.
Now, she sounds very scripted. I don't know if you guys caught it in the beginning that she's basically saying that she's going to read off a teleprompter because it's just too much to just go through with everything that is happening. Now, something that I wanted to bring out concerning one of the chats, I believe it was you, YouTube Punk. This is something that we have discussed on this chat many occasions. This is, well, actually, I think this might be the first time or the second time reading this the scripture here concerning the Messiah, but it says, who has believed, and we can at some point go through this on one of the videos that we would upload concerning the Messiah in the Old Testament, but otherwise, who has believed what he has heard from us, and whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by man, a man of sorrows. Now I want to stop there for a moment, because if you actually look at the Old Testament names concerning, this is interesting. So the genealogy names, when we're talking about Adam to Noah, and by the way, I want to ask quickly if you guys think, what do you guys want to see first? A video on slavery, or any other ideas that you guys want me to do to just have more research thoroughly put into the video, as opposed to a live stream where we're kind of moving on different subjects. So where the whole video is just completely focused on this sort of this one point, I guess. But if you look at the names of the genealogy, so we'll go back to the genealogy for a moment. When you actually look at the names and their meanings thereof, you see that Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. When you put side by side the names of what these the translation of the names, like Adam being man, Seth being appointed, Enosh being mortal, Canaan sorrow. So if we actually read the names, we'll read it from Adam to Noah and the meaning of their names. So man, appointed, mortal sorrow, the blessed God shall come down, teaching, his death shall bring the despairing rest or comfort. Those are the names, or those are the meanings of the names from Adam to Noah. And you can read those in Genesis. When you talk about when they're named, exactly tells us what their names, what the meanings are. So you can even look at the original Hebrew. This is what it means. So it's essentially literally talking about the coming of the man who is going to be coming down, teaching his death, but his death shall bring the despairing rest or comfort. Now, going back to Isaiah 53 here, he was despised and rejected by man, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and as one whom men hid their faces, he was despised and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs, has carried our sorrows, yet we esteemed him stricken. Okay, so it says, smitten by God and afflicted, which is what happened on the cross. We'll continue on here. It says, but he was pierced with our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us to peace. Now, we can't possibly fit Israel into this picture. Israel does not fit this picture, because those who will argue that this is actually God speaking about Israel here, this is not the case. Now, there's also the fact that many of the sages and the rabbis talk about that this is concerning a Messiah. Okay, so this is a conversation that me and my brother have had extensively, and I was actually surprised that this is what he said concerning this passage because of our differences. So, yes, Israel has been punished, but Israel hasn't been punished or pierced for our transgressions or being crushed for our iniquities, because of the what some scriptures you brought up last time is that the Father or the Son, they cannot be punished for the sins, like the Son cannot be punished for the sins of the Father, nor the Father punished for the sins of the Son. Vice versa. The scripture that we brought up the last time, I think you'll probably have it handy as to what you posted the last time, but otherwise, there's a couple passages concerning that. So this wouldn't fit Israel for being pierced for our transgressions, considering the fact that nobody likes the Jewish nation. I mean, most people don't like the Jewish nation. This is why we have a lot of anti-Semitism going on. So, but he, and we can even look at this word he here, and if we do a little bit more information in the study, it says, let's see here. It says pronoun of the third person. Let's see if we can get a deeper dive. Let's see here. See if it's going to tell me exactly what I'm looking for. In a third person, what's the word that I'm looking? Let me see how I can find this here. I'm probably looking in the wrong spot here concerning the fact that if this is regarding a as if it was regarding a nation. So it says don't use Strong's concordance. Strong's concordance, is that what you're saying? So what concordance do you say or consider I use? This is if host touches the concordance again, we know he doesn't want to know what the text really says. We can talk about the text of what it says. Literally, if you go over, you can either do the text comparison, or you can do the individual Bible verse study, talking about the definition, the translation, the word info, Okay, so we're going to crushed be. Oh, this is not the. Well, it says crushed be or lie. Crushed.
Dika.
Is concerning the word he there. This is not based on the Strong's Concordance. In some instances, it does say Strong's, but it says whatever it is. I desire you Christians remain divided on that. I think that's what you mentioned. I think that was a typo. It says, my generalization is people who worship Christ think he rose from the dead and died for their sins and will return one day. Please watch the Derek Prince on the future of Israel. Jesus will return on the Mount of Olives the day the Lord is coming. Yeah, so of course this is recorded in Zechariah. It's recorded in the book of Revelation, and this is what we see what happens when he splits the mountain into two. And this is where the river, the waters that flow out of it flow into the Dead Sea River and springs out new life, which is what the Old Testament talks about. But anyway, so it says, crushed for our iniquities upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace. So Israel talking about Israel bringing them peace. That doesn't make any sense. And by his wounds we are healed. So by Israel's wounds we're healed. That doesn't make sense. But this is regarding the nations. All of the nations. God has openly said in both Old and New Testament that he will reach the outer nations, not only just his own people. He said, do you even own a mori? You can't even translate via a word for word, since things like preceding verb can alter the chronological order. This is what Logos is used for, to be able to do this on the app. So it says, and with his wounds we are healed. So if I highlight even a whole set of scriptures here, you can do the whole search concerning that. So here we go. It says, and we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Concerning Israel, the Lord has laid on Israel the iniquity of us all. No, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth, like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that before its shears is silent. So he opened not his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And as for his generation, who considered that he was cut off out of the land of the living, Daniel 9, stricken for the transgression of my people, and they made his grave with the wicked and with a rich man in his death, although he had done no violence. Has Israel done no violence? No. Israel has done what many consider violent, according to how God has called them into the land of promise, the promised land. And they made it so, it says, let's see here. And there was no deceit in his mouth. We couldn't apply that. We couldn't possibly even apply those to Israel whatsoever, given that context. Whatsoever. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, YouTube Punk, because there's no way you can fit Israel into that picture. That Israel has done no violence and there was no deceit in their mouth. I mean, really explain that. Yes, Israel as a nation is referenced to a son. He is a plural. Yes, in many occasions, Israel is mentioned as a son or even a daughter, right? The daughter of Zion, daughter, the nations referred to as Jacob, Israel. There's many instances that God is referencing when he references Israel, when he references the house of Israel. These are very important things to understand concerning Scripture. Now, passage you want me to look up is Matthew 25, 35 through 40. which going over context is going to be key to understanding more of what the scripture that you're pointing out here. But otherwise, we're talking about the parable of the talents. Prior to that, we're talking about the 10 virgins. This is very important, a very important story that can't be glossed over if you guys are reading through the scriptures here, the final judgment. So you're talking about, that says, when the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on his glorious throne. Before him will be gathered all the nations, and he will separate people one from another as shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. Yes, indeed. And he will place the sheep on his right, but the goats on the left. And then the king will say, those on his right, come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom. And says, which is the sheep on his right, prepared for you from the foundations of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you drink? And he says, and when did did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? The king will answer them, truly, truly, I say to you, did it to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. So what was it concerning that passage that you wanted to bring up? I'm not sure exactly what the context there is referring to. It's not surprise Jesus. You talk about the fact that in Psalm, I want to say Psalm 40 verse 2 or Psalm, I think it's Psalm 40 verse 2 or Psalm 40 verse 7 that talks about, it says, in the volume of the book it is written of me. Who is that referring to? Referring to God. When you're looking at all this in context, you see it's only because of the fact that the Old Testament concerning Jesus. Let's see here.
In August, the day Dad was brought to a hospital by ambulance, a newborn Audrey.
Sorry, guys. Let me see. There's something that something that maybe I can share with you guys in a moment. I have to figure out where I wrote that, so I wanted to share that. But anyway, we're going to close it off here, guys. Psalm is not about Jesus. Well, we can agree or disagree. Whatever you think it might be about, that's where we can debate about these things on this type of platform. So if you guys have any sort of questions that you want to share, any comments you want to share concerning these things, please reach out to charles@eyfilm.com, and we can talk about more of this stuff concerning scriptures. So I appreciate you guys for being here. If there's anything that you guys want to, that you guys think I should do a video on concerning anything regarding slavery, anything regarding whatever topic, so that I could do the video on the channel, please let me know in the comments of this video or in any of the other videos. It's fine. This is, I can't say this is like, so, because you think it's not because I think you're hacking me. It's really because of the fact that this is like standard practice for emails and anything in that regard. You just don't open up links. You don't open up links. You don't do any of that stuff. Even you have to know the person personally in person. I think that's the only way you can ever even accept any type of links. So it's not that I think that you're hacking me, bro. Honestly, I would love to go and click on the links and just have everything at ease right there. But dude, honestly, it's just security practices that everybody practices. As much as I want to click on all the links that says I'm winning $1 billion because of an inheritance, I don't know, thing from somebody in UK that I apparently had a family member tied to. I don't know. I would love that $1 billion, most certainly. So yeah, guys, please consider subscribing. Please consider putting the mod, the mod. Wow, I saw that word. Punk wants to be a mod still. Yes, he does. And so put the notification bells. YouTube is not pushing these videos out as it used to. And so that's kind of a bummer, but otherwise we're going to let it continue to play out to do exactly what it wants to do. And hopefully we're not being censored here. However, you can also defeat that censorship, and we can talk about more of this stuff on other podcasts. And we can then go into some in detail religious texts and all this stuff concerning the scriptures on our videos that we post weekly or however that is. So it's Sunday night, Monday morning. It is most certainly pretty late in hour. Most of you will still be up, but up for quite a couple times. So this is Punk, YouTube Punk. I love you anyway. A Hoke. Interesting. L. All right. So what's an A Hoke? All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for being here. We'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Seeing you in the chat. So appreciate it. Thanks.